This is the 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro, and it's probably one of the best tablet offerings from Apple for 2021. Yeah, let me explain. What is up everyone, my name's Ramal, welcome to my channel, and welcome to this new filming setup for 2021 and hopefully beyond. Tell me what you think about it in the comments below, but yeah, let's get right into it. The 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro is Apple's third generation in the 12.9-inch iPad Pro lineup. It was released in the third quarter of 2018 and was basically love at first sight for many iPad enthusiasts around the globe, myself included. I mean, the industrial boxy design of the iPad Pro is really just one of the best designs in tech, period. Personally, I'm still yet to find someone who just straight up dislikes the iPad Pro, both the 2018 and 2020 versions, which are basically the same. Because even if you're an Apple hater, the iPad Pro and the iPad lineup in general is just one of those lineups of products where you just can't argue with the convenience, the power, and the design for such a large amount of people when the iPad can basically be your main computer, especially with iPadOS and all of the features it brings along with it. Even though Apple released both an 11-inch and 12.9-inch variant of the 2018 iPad Pro, I'll only be focusing on the 12.9-inch variant for this video in particular, and if you've read the title to this video, you already understand why. But I did make a couple of videos on the 12.9-inch iPad Pro a couple of years ago on my channel. In one of them I explained why I picked the larger one over the smaller one, and the second one's a review of the iPad Pro that I made in 2019. And I highly urge you not to watch them unless you really have to, especially the second one, which is my review, because I really look like an Oompa Loompa with a bad suntan in that video. But if you do want to check them out, I'll have them linked in the video description. But yeah, proceed at your own risk. Alright, so just to be clear, I'm filming this video on the 4th of January 2021, and there are rumours of an iPad Pro with a mini LED display coming out in either Q1 or Q2 of 2021. Now you're probably thinking that this release of a new iPad Pro with a mini LED display and obviously a new chipset is going to be bad news for the 12.9-inch 2018 iPad Pro. But personally, I think that that's going to be the best news this year if you're considering buying a 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro, because currently at this time in filming the video, the 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro in a 64GB size comes in at $699 refurbished on Apple's official refurb store, and with the release of a new iPad Pro, prices are going to go down, and that's always a good thing. In the title of this video, I describe the 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro as a bigger, better version of the 2020 iPad Air, or the 4th generation iPad Air, which was released in September of 2020. In case you're not aware, the 2020 4th generation iPad Air is the first iPad apart from the iPad Pro lineup to feature Apple's new industrial boxy design language for the iPad. It's also the only device in Apple's entire iPad lineup at this point in time that features Apple's brand new A14 SoC, which it shares with the iPhone 12 lineup. And to be completely honest, the A14 SoC in the iPad Air 4th generation is about as fast, if not just a smidge faster, than the A12X processor we have in the 11-inch and 12.9-inch 2018 iPad Pros, and a little bit faster than the A12Z processors we have in the 2020 11-inch and 12.9-inch iPad Pros. So don't be fooled by the fact that the iPad Air has an A14 Bionic chip, whereas the iPad Pro, the 2018 iPad Pro, has an A12X Bionic chip. There's a very high chance that if you clicked on this video, you're already aware of the fact that the 2020 4th generation iPad Air is basically a muted version of the 11-inch iPad Pro, with the main downgrade being the display. The 2020 and 2018 11-inch iPad Pro models have a 120Hz refresh rate display, a ProMotion display as Apple likes to call it, which basically means that it has a high refresh rate, whereas the 2020 iPad Air has a 10.9-inch 60Hz standard refresh rate display. Now, if you've never actually experienced the magic of 120Hz or high refresh rate displays, you really have to try it out side by side next to a non-120Hz standard refresh rate display like the iPad Air, because once you go ProMotion, you can really never go back, because everything just feels so much smoother and so much more fluid. And despite the fact that the 2018 12.9-inch and 11-inch iPad Pros have an A12X chip, The 120Hz refresh rate on those iPad Pro models just make it feel so much faster and fluid to the touch than the newer 2020 iPad Air 4. However, this video isn't about the 11-inch iPad Pro, it's about the 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro, and one of the biggest perks of the iPad Pro in its 12.9-inch size is that it's bigger than the 10.9-inch 4th generation iPad Air. Now, for some people, the larger size of the 12.9-inch iPad Pro can be a bit of a turn-off when it comes to the smaller size of the 10.9-inch iPad Air and how much more convenient it is to just carry around between classes and between destinations and so on. But the thing about the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, the 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro, is that it's not much more expensive refurbished than a brand new 4th generation iPad Air, which starts at $599 US. And for that $100 extra you're paying for the 12.9-inch refurbished 2018 iPad Pro, you get a bigger display, a 120Hz ProMotion display, you get Face ID, you get more speakers, louder speakers, and you still get the amazing performance that you'd expect from a recent iPad model. And that's basically my whole point with the 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro in 2021, because in many ways it's kind of like an iPad Air 4 Plus. The bigger screen size on the 12.9-inch iPad Pro compared to the 10.9-inch screen we have on the iPad Air 4 just makes the iPad Pro so much better for note-taking, reading, multitasking, and especially for digital illustrative work, because especially if you're using the 2nd generation Apple Pencil, which is supported by both the iPad Air 4 and all of the 12.9-inch 2018-2020 iPad Pro models, it's just such a good feeling to use a larger display with an Apple Pencil than it is for a smaller display on the iPad Air. The other thing you have to keep in mind is that if you're trying to get an iPad to use as your primary laptop alternative device for 2021, but you don't want to spend like over $1,000 on a 12.9-inch iPad Pro and a keyboard and all of those accessories that comes along with it, the 12.9-inch 2018 iPad Pro is really just a perfect fit because the screen is big, it's plenty powerful, and yes, keyboards are more expensive for larger iPads, but that comes with the upside of better ergonomics because it's much easier to type on a larger keyboard than a smaller one. So yeah, the 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro, in my opinion, still has a place in Apple's iPad lineup in 2021, especially as a bigger, better alternative to the 4th generation iPad Air. And just to reiterate what I said towards the beginning of this video, a 64GB refurbished 12.9-inch 2018 iPad Pro is $699 US, whereas a 4th generation iPad Air starts at $599 US, both for 64GB models. With new iPad Pro models seemingly just around the corner in Q1 or Q2 in 2021, the 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro will definitely see a price reduction, and I wouldn't be surprised to see refurbished iPad Pros that are basically the same price as 4th generation brand new iPad Airs, and that's pretty cool considering that at that point you pretty much have a better iPad in the 12.9-inch iPad Pro than you do with a 10.9-inch iPad Air 4 for many people and many use cases. And that brings me to the conclusion of this video. I primarily wanted to make this video as kind of a public service announcement that the 12.9-inch 2018 iPad Pro exists as the perfect plus-sized iPad Air 4, and I hope you guys found this information useful, and if you did, make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more tech videos. And of course, if you have any thoughts and questions pertaining to the 2018 12.9-inch iPad Pro, make sure to leave them in the comments down below, because I've had this device for almost 2 years now, so I know it basically inside out. So yeah, any thoughts or questions, the comments are down below and open for your suggestions and inputs. And yeah, that's the end of the video. My name's Ramal. Again, thank you so much for watching until the very end, and I'll catch you in the next one.